Alright, so I'm going to do a little review on the Onda V919 Air Dual OS, which is a Chinese tablet. You can't get it in the US unless you order it from China, but it's basically an iPad Air clone. It's got magnesium alloy case, which is really nice. Feels great. It's really smooth. Feels well built, doesn't creak. I don't believe it has a Gorilla Glass screen. But the only real complaint hardware-wise I have is the battery, which is not quite as big as it should be, and the speaker, because it only has one speaker, even though it has two speaker grills. The speaker doesn't sound that great, but it works all right. It is a dual booting tablet, so it runs both Windows 8.1 and Android 4.4 natively. I thought I'd be using Android a lot on this thing, but honestly, I really haven't because Windows has impressed me so much. I've never been a big Windows fan, especially because it's always, the Windows tablets are always abysmal resolution. And they're just now starting to come out with higher resolution ones. And even now in the US, you can't really buy a higher resolution one unless you want to go all out and get a Surface Pro. But the Atom ones are still pretty low resolution here, and I don't understand why, because this has an Atom Z3736 chip in it, and it's smoking fast. It's really smooth, especially like in Internet Explorer. It's just amazing. If you've been using Android to browse the internet, you simply won't believe how much faster and smoother it is. I couldn't. And the Internet Explorer experience is so good that it makes up for the lack of apps in Windows 8, the lack of Metro apps. And I mean, you don't really notice it because all the apps that you use in Android, like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, they all have web interfaces that are usually better and more full featured than the gimpy Android apps. So I haven't missed the apps, and if there is an Android app that I want, and say, well, obviously I could dual boot into the operating system, but I don't even have to do that if I just want to use an app for a second. Like, I installed this thing called Dual OS. Duo OS. You get to it from the desktop. But now, I mean, this is running on Windows. It's virtual, but it looks just like the tablet's normal Android now. And I could run any app or anything. It's not quite as fast as running it natively, but if I just need to get down and dirty and run an app real quick. So yeah, with that, it's the Windows experience is just amazing. I mean I could go on the desktop and use that, and it helps that you could use like I'll exit out of this. You could get a virtual mouse. You get the virtual mouse pad, and then actually I will reboot it into Android just to show you that. You just click reboot into Android. Now, well, this is going. I'll show you this keyboard case I got for it. It's a Belkin Code with a QODE Ultimate Keyboard Case, and this is made for the iPad Air, but because this is an iPad Air clone with almost the same dimensions and the same key placement, same button placement, it actually this tablet works with a lot of cases. I haven't tested them all out, but I heard this one fit perfect, and lo and behold, it does. Here, I'm gonna put the phone down so I can snap this in just a second. All right, so we're back, and it booted up. Android now, so you can see it's fast, it's smooth. Just Android itself kind of sucks. Like, once you've used the full-fledged operating system, like the multitasking on Android is just garbage. I mean, you can't even watch YouTube videos while you're browsing. You're listening to a YouTube video while you're browsing the net without using some crappy third-party app, which crashes half the time. So, yeah, I haven't even really messed with the Android that much on this. You can root it. Actually, I believe it's pre-rooted. You just need to install Super User APK. So it's easy to root. And Xposed Framework can also work. You just need to modify a little something. Play Store works stock. So I haven't had issues with that. I'm gonna switch back into Windows here. So yeah, I don't really have many complaints about this tablet. The eMMC, the disk drive in it, or well, it's not a disk, but the flash drive in it, it is actually pretty fast. I was getting, I think, 160 megabytes per second read, and I don't know with the right times. I forget off the top of my head, but it did actually perform well compared to other tablets. So put my password in here. Yeah, as you see in the log on screen, there's a little bit of Chinese. And see, I did switch the language settings to English, but this is like it's a Chinese version of Windows. So some of it's like hard encoded in there, and you can't get rid of some of the Chinese. But and it seems to think like when I go to the Windows App Store, it seems to think I'm Chinese or something. So it'll like the description. I don't know. Here, I'll show you. Like, so I need to try and see if I could fix the App Store. But other than that, like the little bit of Chinese on here hasn't bugged me because it's things that like I don't really need to read anyway. But that could be a problem for some people. And it does have this capacitive button here. It's not a real button. You just have to touch it. It's really sensitive. And I actually like it in Windows because it allows you, it's a Windows button. In Android, some people have been disabling it because it's been bugging them. And I could see, I mean, you can touch it accidentally. So you kind of got to watch out for that. I don't know how to disable it in Windows. I do know how to disable it in Android. I mean, if you search on the forums and the XDA thread for this device, you'll see it. Instructions on how to do that. So I don't know. I might figure out how to do that in Windows, but it hasn't bugged me, and I've actually liked it so far. So yeah, it's a pretty beastly tablet. A tablet like this will allow you to do a lot more than an Android or even a regular Windows tablet, and it's a lot higher. Like, and if you buy a regular Windows tablet in the United States, you're gonna get a crap screen and a crappy thick plastic device, and you're gonna pay a lot more. So personally, I'm just going with Android tablets from here on, or with I'm going with Chinese tablets from here on out, and I'm done buying American tablets because they're just a rip-off, and they don't even provide better quality anymore. I've had better experience with the cheap Chinese manufacturers than with name brands such as Nvidia, because the cheap Chinese guys, they've been building tablets for like 5 years now. They have a lot of experience. You know, they pop out a new tablet brand every week, almost. Well, every month, you know, for most of the major companies that come out with a new release. So they know what they're doing. And a lot of the American guys like try to cheap out. Like with the Shield tablet, you saw like cracking. I mean, the trim on it was like spontaneously cracking. It had horrible Wi-Fi issues. Not to mention all the software bugs. I mean, it just had a ton of hardware bugs, which they didn't even test. But I mean, it's one of those things, you know, practice makes perfect. And Android, the Chinese tablets were really shitty a few years ago, but from my experience, they've gone uphill. I have another one. I got the Teclast P90 HD, which has a Rockchip 3288 in it, and I mean, that's a good tablet too. And I might actually try and transplant the battery out of that one into this one. There's been some guys that have ordered bigger batteries, and they're gonna attempt to transplant them, because that's the really weak point in this tablet is the battery. So if I could replace that, this thing would be pretty damn sweet. And it still is pretty sweet. It's just the battery doesn't. I want more than 4 hours battery life. That's all I could say. But yeah, I would definitely suggest it. It's got an amazing screen. It's really fast and fluid, and got a good flash drive. I don't know. Yeah, enjoy it.